Are you thinking of moving to Fort Lauderdale in 2025? Well, if so, whether you're relocating because of work and just kind of getting acquainted with everything that Fort Lauderdale has to offer, or you've been coming here for years, but you just don't know what to look out for when making your purchase in 2025, you're gonna want to stick around because I'm gonna break down the 5 things that you'll need to consider before making a purchase in Fort Lauderdale in 2025. By the way, I'm Juan Yarusi with Compass, your South Florida realtor, and over the years I've helped hundreds of families who now call South Florida home because we've successfully helped them navigate the Fort Lauderdale market. Now, before we dive in, let's take a quick look at what people are referring to when they mention the greater Fort Lauderdale area. See, when they mention greater Fort Lauderdale, they're essentially referring to Broward County, which includes cities like Hollywood, Hallandale, and Pompano Beach all along the coastline, or areas such as Plantation, Weston, or Parkland that offer more of a suburban living. They all offer different lifestyles and price points. Now, the city of Fort Lauderdale, on the other hand, is mostly or in great part located east of I-95, and it stretches as far south as the Fort Lauderdale International Airport and as far north as Bay Colony, neighboring Pompano. This is where you're gonna find stunning waterfront homes, luxury condos, and some of the best dining and nightlife options around. And this is precisely the area that we'll be focusing on for this video. So without further ado, let's jump in. Let's talk about what makes this area so special and what are the 5 things that you need to know before moving here in 2025. Lifestyle and amenities. Fort Lauderdale is famous for its laid-back beach lifestyle, and Fort Lauderdale's beach is among the 6 beaches in Greater Fort Lauderdale that have earned the Blue Wave certification from the Clean Beaches Coalition. This designation recognizes the beach's commitment to environmental care, safety, and cleanliness. Now, if you're a boating enthusiast, you're gonna love Fort Lauderdale. It is aptly nicknamed the Venice of America, for it has over 165 miles of navigable waterway. So whether you're looking to paddleboard, kayak, cruise around in a jet ski, or take out your mega yacht out to sea, there's really no other place to be. Now, if you're into shopping or dining, you'll love the iconic Las Olas Boulevard, which is packed with boutique shops, amazing dining options, and vibrant nightlife. And let's not forget the art scene. There are plenty of galleries, theaters, museums, and live music venues to explore. Now, as a former Miami resident for over 20 years myself, let me be the first to tell you that the nightlife is great here. You have some amazing dining options, but if you're looking for the club scene or like that hustle and bustle that you get in like South Beach or the urban core, sort of the Brickell area, Wynwood, you're not gonna find it here. What I personally love myself is the live music options that you have, but keep that in mind. If you're looking for the club scene, you're not really gonna find it here. Cost of living. All right, now I know what you're probably thinking, like, okay, that's great, the beach, the water, I love it, but let's get down to brass tacks here. How much is it gonna cost for me to live here? Well, the median sales price for a single family home in Fort Lauderdale is presently $669,000. And the median sales price for condos and townhomes combined together is around $415,000. Now, of course, it all depends on which areas you decide on living in. If you want something that's oceanfront versus something that's closer to downtown, prices are gonna vary quite a bit, particularly when you're thinking of the waterfront, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, just for reference, I'm just gonna mention what the median sales prices are for the county. So for Broward County, single family home prices are hovering around $619,500. So let's call it $620,000. And the condos and townhomes, median sales price is now $285,000, which is quite a difference from the $415,000 that we see here in Fort Lauderdale. There is something that I always like to throw out there, just particularly for those folks that are undecided whether they go for a condo or perhaps they go for a single family home. As you can imagine, there's a lot of second homeowners here in South Florida. So condos are very popular because it's easy. You just lock up and leave. You don't really have to worry about, the house sitting empty. And something that comes up quite a bit is, oh, the HOA dues are so high. But there is also another way to look at it. See, the building insurance, so your flood, your wind insurance, all of that stuff is built into your monthly HOA fees, typically. So when you're looking into a single family home, you may need to purchase insurance for the home. And depending where it's located, you may need flood insurance as well. Now, that's nothing to be scared of. It's just something that you need to be aware of, because the cost of insurance can fluctuate so widely dependent on location, the price of the property type. It's very hard for me to give you a ballpark range of what you could expect. Property taxes, on the other hand, generally fall between 1.8 to 2% of your purchase price. So if you're out there on Zillow or Realtor.com or any of these other websites and it shows the property's taxes, you might as well not even look at it. The reason why is if they purchased that property 20 to 30 years ago, I can guarantee you're not going to be paying those taxes. You're going to be paying based on your purchase price, okay? And that's gonna vary. That 1.8 to 2% is gonna vary depending on what area you end up buying in. So we typically say budget around 2%. It'll make it easier on yourself. You're not gonna drive yourself crazy. Or if you'd like, there is a tool that the Broward County Appraiser's Office provides, which gives you an estimate. I'll link it in the description below, and I'll show you here essentially what you'll do. You'll select the area, you'll put in the purchase amount, and it'll give you a calculation. If you try this enough, you'll see that it will always fall close to that 1.8 to 2% range. So that's why, just to get you in the ballpark, if you use that 2%, you should be fine. Now, if you're wondering where Fort Lauderdale stacks up compared to Miami or Palm Beach, your dollar definitely goes a lot farther here in Fort Lauderdale. And while the real estate market has been winding down across the US, there are few exceptions to the rule, and South Florida is definitely one of them. Fort Lauderdale has held strong. As a matter of fact, single family home prices have increased 14% year over year. And with developments in areas such as Flagler Village, which is bringing some amazing luxury new projects such as On Bell and Viceroy, along with the highly anticipated St. Regis, Bahia Mar, and some outlandish multi-million-dollar single-family home sales, the trends, projections, and future of Fort Lauderdale's real estate seems extremely promising. Now, the good news is that whether you're looking for a luxurious waterfront home or a property in a family-friendly neighborhood, inventory levels finally seem to have been improving. This gives buyers more options, which allows you to have more negotiation. And for sellers, this is the perfect time to capitalize on the demand for homes in this area. Now, let me give you my 2 cents, whatever that's worth to you, regarding the single family versus condo market and how I see things might play out. Condo buildings, right? There may be some great opportunities there. However, you're gonna wanna tread lightly. There's gonna be some buildings that need quite a bit of work. They're gonna have assessments, and all of those buildings are gonna perhaps not be as palatable for buyers. What's gonna happen? That the new buildings and those buildings, which even if they're older, but they have their financials in place, they have their reserve study done, they're in a good place, and they have no assessments or very little assessments, everything's covered, those are going to rise to the top. Those are going to be the highly desirable buildings. And those other ones are probably going to take a hit, right? Now, what's going to happen? All these headlines that keep coming out is going to continue to drive uncertainty in the market. And a lot of folks out there are going to say, nah, I just don't want to deal with a condo. I just don't want to deal with a condo. Let's look for a house. Now you're increasing your buyer pool for single family homes, which is the property type that it's already tight. We don't have enough inventory for the single family home. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. There'll be certain sectors of the condo market that will perform well. There's going to be some sectors of the condo market that are not going to do very well. And the single family home market, I anticipate that it'll do quite well for 2025. Traffic and commuting. Now let's talk about traffic and commuting. But in reality, we're talking about location. See, what's great about Fort Lauderdale is it's exactly in between Miami and Palm Beach. So whether you want to drive an hour south and hit Miami Beach, Brickell, downtown, or you want to drive an hour north and head to Worth Avenue and enjoy everything that Palm Beach has to offer, it's an easy ride away. The Brightline train station also is a huge factor because there is a Brightline train station here in Fort Lauderdale, so you can easily hop on there and commute either to Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Aventura, or Miami. And regarding traffic, as you could expect, you're going to experience heavy traffic during major events like Tortuga Music Festival, the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, or of course, spring break. And again, just like location, right? You're right in the middle. If you want to explore different areas in the weekend, you can head north to Delray, Atlantic Avenue, or keep heading north to Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, Worth Avenue, and just check out what Palm Beach has to offer. Or of course, you head down to Miami, downtown, Wynwood, Brickell, all that good stuff. If you're commuting, the Brightline is an alternative, but overall, within Fort Lauderdale, it's really quite manageable. Weather. Finally, let's discuss the weather. Of course, it's a big draw for most people out there. It's sunny year-round. We do have a rainy season, but overall, it's extremely pleasant. However, the summer months do get quite a bit hot. So if not familiar with them, you're gonna need to get accustomed to it. In the winter months, for example, we'll experience lows in the 55 to 60 degree temperature and the highs from 75 to 80. In the summer though, you're looking at 88 to 92 degrees Fahrenheit on the high and about 75 to 80 degrees on the low. The one thing you're probably not used to is the humidity. It's a small price to pay, all right, to live in paradise. However, it is a tropical climate, so we do have a rainy season. That season usually lasts between, let's say, May and October. And with that, you do have the potential for hurricanes. Hurricane season starts June 1st and it runs through the end of November. But really the more active months with a higher likelihood of a storm forming is August and October. Now, I've been lucky enough to call South Florida home 25 years now, and I've got to say, we've lived through some. We've had more tropical storms than real hurricanes, but it is something that you need to be mindful of, you need to be aware of. If you live in a colder climate, you might be used to snowstorms. Maybe that's something that happens every so often. If you live out in California, maybe, I don't know, forest fires or earthquakes or something like that is something that you deal with. So equated to that, just keep it in mind. The other thing that you want to consider is flooding. And I'm not talking about necessarily water coming into your home or 1 in every 100-year, rainfall where it's hard to predict if it ever happens, but more so when you have prolonged rain, your typical heavy rain, do the streets tend to flood? Because maybe water doesn't come into your home, but then you can't drive out, or it's, you have to drive out carefully, and may become a factor or a concern down the road. So just be sure to be mindful and ask, hey, do these streets tend to flood? There is actually a FEMA map that I'll link in the description below. It's interactive, it's kind of hard to use, but it's a resource. I'll link it here so you can kind of take a look. And again, it's better that you are aware of these things so you can prepare accordingly whenever a storm is coming. And look, I'm not saying any of this to scare you. Just be mindful of it, you know? If you're coming down and you're planning on living here full time, just know that it is something that you'll need to prepare for when the time comes, okay? And you just need to be aware of it. Flooding though, it is something that you can control, right? If you already know that the streets are flooding, maybe it's not a good option for you. Or maybe you don't care, and then great now, but at least you know. You already asked and you know. So make sure you ask your agent. If you don't, feel free to reach out to me. My information is in the description below. Again, it's just for you to be aware. It's all about you making the best decision for you. And there you have it, as promised, the 5 things that you need to know before making your move in Fort Lauderdale in 2025. Again, I'm Juan Yarusi with Compass, your South Florida realtor. If you think that somebody would benefit from watching this video, please go ahead and share it with them. And if you'd like a free consultation with me to help you navigate the market as I have with so many clients before, feel free to reach out. My information is in the description below. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And I'd really love to know in the comments section if you have any suggestions for any upcoming videos that I should make. If you like the content, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'll be putting out more information like this along with property tours, new development project highlights, and things of that nature. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you're curious to know what's going on in the market, I'm linking the newest market update here. I put these out every month. So if you're curious to learn or just to monitor what's going on in the market, go ahead and give me a follow. There's a little notification bell that you can click so you can make sure to get notified every time a new video comes out. And once again, thank you for your time. I'll see you on the next one.